This 16-year-old makes $100,000 a month, and you? 2 college degrees and you can barely work at Burger King. Right now it's late and you're in bed trying to close your eyes, but this contrast haunts you. Why do so many genuinely creative geniuses go unrewarded, meanwhile a kid posting brain rot becomes a millionaire? The next day, you wake up wanting answers to replicate that success for yourself. Do smart people simply just overthink everything? Now your plan is simple. Try a business model until you learn how it works. So you sit on your chair with a burst of motivation to start and figure out what to do. Alright, this should be easy considering how well you did in school. All we have to do is decide one thing. What the heck? Bro, there's so many. You just hit your first obstacle and you haven't even started. How are you supposed to choose one thing? What if you make the wrong decision and only find out that it's the wrong decision when it's too late? You close your computer and choose an easier activity. You'll do it tomorrow. That same night you compare yourself again and realize that a lot of successful people have started without much thought put into it. That is pretty weird. You open your computer ready to figure out what to do. I mean, certainly with your 2 college degrees and critical thinking skills, you can decide on something, right? You close your computer and choose an easier activity. Days go by. Every time you promise yourself, I'll do it later, or I'll do it tomorrow. This cycle goes on and on. Every time you try, it always gets hard to choose, so you stop out of fear. And it still goes on and on for days and even weeks on end. But don't worry, you'll do it tomorrow. And it's still going. Almost 2 months have passed and you are too scared to start. To make things even worse, you can barely pay your rent. One wrong decision and you'll be homeless. So you have to make this work. You get the same videos on your feed and wonder why you can't start something. But that right there is when it starts to click. A lot of successful people didn't start because they knew more. They started because they didn't wait to feel ready. Meanwhile, you always make an excuse when it gets even slightly challenging. For example, what if you fail and waste your time? Or what if you choose the wrong business? Why shouldn't you just wait until you feel ready? A lot of people that you think are stupid do start businesses worse. They do suck at it at first, and yes, they do waste time, they do fail. But the important thing is, they actually start, and eventually they learn along the way. Like, they don't start good, they get good once they do more. So with this new mindset, you make a really rash decision. You get a list of business ideas and choose 3 then and there. But let's get a good night's rest first. It's a rainy Saturday. You have time to start, and you are aware that you'll suck at first. And maybe starting isn't as difficult as we once thought. Hours pass as you sit on your chair grinding away the rest of the day. You suddenly feel more productive than ever. Things feel like they are finally coming together. When you get home from work, you immediately log onto your computer and do something productive. Even when things get slightly challenging, you still push yourself to finish the task. 2 days later and things are almost up and running. You just need to code a part of your website and things will go smooth. Who's this? Alright, where's my money? I have it on auto pay, so you should receive it soon. Check your account. You open your phone, log on, and realize that you're $100 short on rent. You spend so much time on your businesses that you haven't done the best at work lately. With the landlord calling you, you realize that you only have a few months before you get kicked out of your apartment. So now you have no choice but to make this work. And things don't go smoothly. You find it harder and harder to do challenging work. Especially since you also have a job on top of this. You may be smart, but you also use that intelligence to think of better excuses to not work. Your current schedule is waking up and working for 2 hours, going to your job for 8 hours, and then working again for 2 hours on your businesses. Now I think anyone looking at the schedule will realize that this exhausts you fast. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. Like, you spend so much free time on work and barely have any output. And on top of that, it starts to get super challenging. You are currently significantly more tired and uncreative due to trying to balance everything. So you decide to look at your workflow. What moments do you make the most progress in? And how do you get more of those moments? Something stands out. In this clip right here, you are very worried about your website being bad. So you sit down for not 1, not 2, but 3 hours procrastinating before you even start working. What you realize is that a lot of the time you always overthink but never start something. You could use your brain to help you do something meaningful, but instead, you procrastinate with better excuses. This must be fixed. Before bed, you mentally plan exactly what you'll do the next day. Even if it's hard, even if you're bad at it, you're doing it. Alright, so time for bed. Let's see what happens. You log onto your computer and within a minute, you're already working. You know exactly what needs to be done, so this productivity feels amazing. You are currently working on 3 ideas, and at this point, your hypothesis is that once one idea works, you'll go all in on the idea that works. When you go to work, you mentally plan what you're going to do the night when you get home, just to make sure you have perfect clarity on what you're about to do, especially to avoid procrastination. A few days pass. Now, at this point, we should already be at maximum productivity, right? I mean, of course it's challenging, but you're also wasting way less time and getting more work done every day. So, you are struggling. The workload just exploded out of nowhere. You go to bed more tired than the day before. This clearly is not working. And to make it even worse, you are about to lose your apartment. Here's the thing though. You started 3 projects at once, and this decision has finally caught up to you. For this entire story, you couldn't decide what to do. Right now you have 3 times the workload compared to one business. So on your unorganized computer, you have to choose one idea to do really well. And suddenly things get stressful. For example, what if you choose the worst idea? Or what if you fail on that idea? Or what if you can't finish that idea? You have to make a choice now. You carefully evaluate all 3 and pick the one you enjoy the most. Your job starts in 2 hours and you can't pay for rent. You know what? We're staying home. Alright, now this is a terrible idea, but we also have no choice. You stay up all night. Now you have the mindset required to succeed after all this effort, but the rent is getting so close and you have to hurry. And things get boring. Not exciting, not stressful, just repetitive. Now after a few weeks, you start to earn just enough to pay rent. And yeah, you weren't even close on the deadline, so you had to make a deal with the landlord. But after you just make enough, each day feels the same. Every day you delete so many ideas because you could only do one. You feel like you have a list of 300 ideas because of your creativity, but you can't do them. That's probably the hardest thing about succeeding in one thing. And this isn't a unique problem either. A lot of people have a huge number of ideas, but they have to stick to one thing, and it gets repetitive. And this makes it painfully difficult to continue on anything. So now past this point, our character has new problems. But imagine how much progress he could have made if he started earlier. Someday you will regret what you don't do. So why do you overthink everything? You only learn from doing, not overthinking.